Hello, this is Live with Michelle Vann, where we talk about health, wealth, and spirituality. Today, we are here with Miss Tara Robinson.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, Tara, it is so good to meet you in person. Tell us a little bit about who you are in the world.
Who am I in the world? I'm just a girl from the south side of Fort Worth. I grew up in the struggle. I clawed my way out, went to the military, and it kind of helped discipline me and give me some structure that I very much needed in my life. I experienced a lot of childhood trauma coming up. We had some good times and some bad times. But at 17, I said, hey, I want different. Plus I had a child at that age and I knew I wanted more for me and her. And so my mom kept her and allowed me to go on. And that was probably one of the pivotal points in my life to cause me to see things differently. Because in the military, you get to experience life on a larger scale, meeting all types of people. And, so it was interesting. So they kind of broke the mule a little bit. And I was forced to grow up, which was a great thing for me. So then that kind of once I got out of the military, I came back home and from there I just, was getting my degree and became a counselor and still in the military, just doing reserve stuff. And it just the military took me on a path I never thought I would be on. And it led me to this path of helping others and really identifying where I wanted to be in my life. And I became a school counselor. I knew I wanted to go back and help children like me that I felt was overlooked because we didn't have, we were from poverty. So a lot of times if you don't have things, even the people in the school, like teachers and counselors, will overlook you. So I felt like I was overlooked, that nobody saw my hurt. So I wanted to make sure that people knew what childhood trauma looked like and that I reached those children like me that was not reached. And so I said, I'm gonna become this great school counselor. I'm gonna start in elementary and then I'm gonna go to middle school and then I'm gonna go to high school, then maybe college. So that was my plan for my life. And then, so God will always
tell God your plans and he laughs at them.
Yes, he did. I was like, come on. Don't you see me doing great things right here? But he had to remind me, that he also did a lot of great things, but he kept focus on the cross. And so that was kind of like my awakening. And that's how I have arrived at where I'm at today.
So when you think about school counseling, because I was a teacher for 20 years and education is one of those things that does open doors, but it also does produce its own little monsters, if you will.
Yeah.
When we start to think about, especially trauma, and we think of children of color, as you became that school counselor, as you was working in those schools, what were the things that you were seeing that kind of kept you going every day?
I saw a bunch of little me's. From pre-K. Well, let me go back. Before I became a school counselor, you have to be a teacher. For 3 years before you can become a school counselor. And I was like, baby, I can't teach these kids anything as far as ABDC 1 + 1 = 2. I'm not going to be that type of teacher, but what I can teach them is how to channel their anger, their frustrations into something positive. So what I was seeing even at the pre-K level was kids so traumatized the decisions that their parents was making or what they were facing at home. And you can see it in our little people. And I was like, wow, how are we missing this? You want students to read, you want them to write, you want them to do math. But if I'm hungry, or if I just saw my mother being abused and have to come in this space where you want me to sit still and my mind is all over the place, it's not happening. And so until we have community type school settings, our kids will continue to struggle because there is a need for this sense of community that needs to happen in school districts.
Teaching today is very different than what it used to be. Even working with students is just a very different world than what it used to be. It's just not the same. And so as you have worked with students and worked with trauma, how has that morphed you into some of the work that you're doing now?
So, God doesn't waste a thing. I thought, working with these kids, because first I started out in a behavior intervention classroom because I told you I wasn't going to help them do A, B, and C. And
Right.
so, and if you know what a behavior intervention classroom is, you know that it gets very interesting in there.
Absolutely.
And so when I started off, I had this assistant that taught me how to restrain. And I was like, oh my God, is this how we're working with kids? And
Right.
so I had to do this shift because that first year was a bunch of restraints and all of that. And so I had to do this shift in my thinking, like, these kids need love, not restraint. And so when I started to operate in that vein and started to reach out to their parents and be like, hey, come in, have a conversation with me. What's going on with you? Let's talk woman to woman, or let's remove the titles and have a conversation, mother to mother. And so once I started to operate like that, building relationships with parents and the community, and the children saw that I cared outside of the classroom, because I'll pull up at your house, sweetheart, we're gonna have a real conversation. So it became more like that. And we stopped restraining kids in our classroom. And so as I became a counselor and now coming to this work, I started to work with teachers and even my principal, and having these personal conversations like, why are you going off on your staff? Like, what's going on with you? And so that taught me, this is the same vein you need to operate when dealing with the public.
Yeah, that's good.
Love. It's to take off all the titles and be humble and just have a conversation to get to the bottom of why I choose to live like I live. And that changes lives. Like, we don't show up with any titles on. I could care less about what title you wear, to be honest with you. I don't care if you're the president. It comes down to matters of the heart. And we know that everything flows through the heart. We know we all have things going on. And so it becomes, how can I help you?
Yeah. What happened to you?
Yeah. What is it that you need? How can I meet you in your very place of need? And you know what? I always share, I'm just a little girl from the hood. And that breaks down, because people always make assumptions when they see you at first. Oh, if she's doing this, she must have this. But when you get to the background, get to know me, get to how I got here, and then you'll see we can have a conversation that we're more alike than we are different when we sit down, talk, and listen to each other's hearts.
And I think when you, from that perspective, getting to know another woman's story, getting to know why they are doing what they're doing. And yes, you may see some shine and some glitz now, but that's not how it began. That's not how it started. That's not how, God has opened doors and made ways, and I've been able to achieve some things, but it wasn't always like that.
Right. It wasn't. God has to gradually give us his power, because if he gave it to us all at once, we would be very high up here, and then he'd have to bring us that. We see it all the time. We see people reach these great heights and then they fall from grace, or whatever you want to call it. And I just believe he has to, and that's his protection. It's protection and gradual. And so don't assume just because you see a little glitz that this person didn't go through hell to get here. We have been tried and tested.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that's what.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
That's what keeps me humble.
And I think that's what also makes people approachable, that level of, hey, I'm just a regular person doing extraordinary things for the kingdom. It has nothing to do with me. It literally is just the fact that I was the one that was chosen to do this particular piece of the vineyard for this particular season, because it's not even always forever.
It's not. And I have been chosen. I can say that and stand in that, because you couldn't have told me that I would be here. So I know I've been chosen, because you can. I'm still a counselor, but not in the way I thought I would be. And that's the most impactful thing I can say. I really, like you said, our ways, our plans are not his plans, but he will give us the desires of our heart. I remain a counselor, but just not in the way I thought I would be.
All right. Well, we will be right back. We are here. This is Live with Michelle Vann, and we are talking to Tara Robinson. We'll be back. If you're ready to manifest your vision for every area of your life, I invite you to join me inside the Live Well community. For one entire year, you will receive the structure, support, and accountability you need to pursue the life of your dreams. It's time to stop letting fear hold you back and start acting as if everything is possible. Because it is. The truth is, you are powerful beyond measure, and it's time you allow yourself to begin to walk in that power. Within this community, you will get powerful tools to help you organize and structure your life. Monthly, you will get goal setting workshops, you will get workbooks and other tools so that you can begin to create the life that you want. Isn't clarity something worth striving for? As you get into this community, you will level up your self-image and increase your confidence. What are you waiting on? Sign up right now. Are you a woman in leadership ready for your next level in 2023? Lead Up Women in Leadership and Business Virtual Training is a 2-day event designed to empower every woman to take her dreams and business up in 2023. So join us on March 29th through the 30th for this incredible experiencing by registering at www.moniqueflemings.net/events/leadup. This event is for you. Don't miss it. Make sure that you register at www.moniqueflemings.net/events/leadup. Every speaker will be bringing the fire, so come ready. Invite a sister or a friend as well to get into this amazing space. This is the time for you to level up, lead up, and make sure that you are in the room for your blessing. Don't miss it. All right, we are back and we are here with Tara Robinson. We've been talking a little bit about counseling and school and how she got to where she's at. Kind of tell us a little bit about your heart story. I know that you serve from the heart in a metaphoric way, but you do have a heart story.
I do have a heart story, and this was my circumcision. Good grief, it was painful. My heart story is this. So, all my life I've been this brokenhearted little girl, for a number of reasons, like I stated before. And so come November of 2013, I experienced fatigue. My left arm went numb. My neck started to bother me. And I said, what in the world is going on? Because, if you know anything about the military, one thing you do is see the doctor constantly.
Right.
And so I continued that habit after I got out. I never missed my doctor. So as far as I know, I was a picture of health, perfect picture of health. So when my left arm started to go numb and my neck, that was more of a sign for me than fatigue, which we often miss or ignore because we start labeling it as tired or exhausted, And so I told my husband, I said, something's going on with my left arm and my neck. And he said, maybe you tweaked it, or maybe you slept on that side. We started to self-diagnose like we do.
Right.
Every time. I didn't think it was anything serious because it was just a tingling in my arm but I know it was enough for me to notice it and start asking questions. And so that continued. And here I am around Christmas and I looked down at my feet and I was like, dang, my feet are dark, for me. Ooh. And I called my sister, we always have those nurses and doctors in our family that are not really nurses and doctors, but we have them. And so I called her and she said, you need to get to the doctor. And I didn't realize at that time that my clock had started tick.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, I have my well woman's or my physical at the end of January. I'll just wait and let her know then. Girl, thinking that I had time. And so God did give me grace and mercy, and I made it to my doctor and I said, hey, left arm's going numb, neck's bothering me, my feet are darker, I'm tired. And she said, well, let me look at your records. She looked and she said, well, you don't have high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, any of those things. Maybe you're just stressed. I said, oh, it was a very light, just like I'm talking to you, a very light conversation.
Wow.
And I said, maybe I am just stressed. because, you know, I'm a mother, I'm a wife. My son was a senior. He was leaning on that last nerve, and a lot was going on. And plus, remember, I'm in the classroom at this time as a behavior.
Right.
So I'm dealing with children with stank attitudes and
Every day.
Every day. They come in ready, you know, so I'm dealing with all of that. So I said, well, I'm Superwoman. You know, I got my cape on. I'm dealing with a lot. And so I left there. It was never a conversation about my heart. It was just, you're stressed. You need to do something to relieve your stress.
Wow.
And that's the mindset I had. And so when I left there, every time my left arm would go numb because it never stopped and my neck would bother me, I would say, I need to go walk or meditation, do something to try to release the stress, because I internalize my stress. I wasn't really at that time a speaker about it, I just internalized. And so from January to April, God kept me again. Really from November to April, God kept me.
Right.
And so I woke up on April 10th at 2:00 in the morning, and I told my husband something is seriously wrong. My left arm was numb, my neck was bothering me, my upper back was in pain, I felt like I was hot, having a hot flash, I felt sick to my stomach, my jaw was numb, my chest felt like I took a big pill and it was stuck. That's how I felt in that moment.
Wow. And so as you got to the hospital, what were you diagnosed with?
I wasn't diagnosed. I got to the hospital and just I'm talking to you, I was telling her all my symptoms. I felt fine. And they do an EKG, nothing. They do, the doctor comes in, a young Black gentleman, and he said, you're too young to be having a heart attack. And I said, I am. And why would something be wrong with my heart? I'm healthy. I just left the doctor in January. She said nothing was wrong. I was just a little stressed. And so I left. I was released.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, with orders to follow up with my primary care. And, you know, we always think back, but I was released. And to follow up, who can get in their primary care the next day?
And yeah.
So I went to work like we do. I got dressed because I'm feeling better at this point. So I got dressed. I went to work. And got to my classroom. I had a student that was ready. And we were trying to calm him down, but I guess the stress of that triggered my second episode. That's what I was calling it, an episode at this point. Gave it another label. And so I go down to my knees and I tell my assistant, this happening again. And she said, what? I said, my left arm, this episodes I keep having, my left arm is numb, my neck, I feel like I need to throw up or vomit, excuse the language, but it is what it is. It is. Yeah, I felt like I was having hot flashes, ladies. Y'all know what that feel like. And it was just a lot going on, like my body was misfiring. And so she runs out and leaves me in there with the student. Leaves me in there with that student. And by the time she comes back, she goes to call 911, get the school nurse. And by the time they come back, I'm sitting in the chair and I'm feeling better.
Oh, wow. This is Live with Michelle Vann. We are talking to Tara Robinson. We are going to be right back. Oh my gosh.
I know, it's a lot.
All right, hold on. Let me start this over and let's keep going. Okay. Oh, shoot. All right, this is Live with Michelle Vann. We are back and we are talking to Tara Robinson. Okay, so they come back and what happens?
I'm sitting in the chair. I am a little tired, a little more tired this time, but I feel okay. I feel I can go on with my day. And so the fire crew gets there, and they do an EKG in my classroom. And they say, we don't see anything. If you just wanted our attention, you should have just called us up and we would have just came by the school. And we were laughing. It was light, you know? And so they were like, well, do you want to go to the hospital? I was like, no, who wants to go to the hospital? No. Right. So I was like, no.
The whole bill.
Yeah, this is just episodes. But my assistant called my husband and he was like, get your butt to that hospital. And so I went on to the hospital. And a cardiologist, a white woman, comes out and she says, we can't find anything, but the symptoms that you're describing is like you had a heart attack. I said, girl, I ain't had no heart attack. You just couldn't make me believe that I was having a heart attack.
Wow.
And she said, but we have no reason to keep you. And I looked at her and I said, something is wrong.
Right.
And I just want to be observed overnight because I don't want this to catch me at home. But I still was adamant that it wasn't a heart attack, but I knew it was something because I know my body. And so we're going back and forth about her not having a reason to keep me. Now, you just told me I had textbook symptoms, but yet you don't want to keep me. But okay, at this time, I'm not thinking I'm advocating for myself. I'm just thinking, I just want to find out what's wrong with me.
Right.
And so.
And I don't want to do this in the bed with my husband.
That I don't want to go home and do this and have to come back here. You know, who wants to do that? And so she said, well, I'm gonna do one more test on you. And it's a troponin test. They do it in a series of 3 and it shows your heart enzyme. She said, if it comes back elevated, that means you've had a heart attack. And I'm like, okay. So it came back slightly elevated. She said, it's so slight, it's not enough reason for us to keep you. I said, but it is off. So please keep me. So they kept me and they did the test 2 more times and it came back normal.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, you know, I'm happy to go home. So I'm not going to argue with you. I'm like, you're the doctors. You have way more experience in this field than I do, more information about whatever possibly could be going on than I do. So I'm just ready to go home at this point. If you say I'm good, I'm trusting that I'm good.
Right.
And so I leave there at 11. And just like many of us, we go back to doing life. She just told me I was good. So let me go clean up my house. Let me go visit with my girlfriends. Let me go, you know, talk to my family. They're coming over, checking in on me. And so then after they leave, I start cleaning up my bathroom. I start cleaning the bottom of my shower. Now, mind you, TikTok, somebody dies every 36 seconds from a heart attack. Every 36 seconds. Now it has increased to 43, but still that's not long. And so
I'm playing a minute.
Yes, it's not even a minute. And TikTok, my clock is about to expire at this point. And so I'm cleaning my shower and it starts to happen again. My left arm goes numb, my neck is bothering me, and I crawl into the bedroom. And I think I'm yelling for my husband, but he says he just so happened to pass by the door because I'm saying it's happening again. That became my phrase. It's happening again. And he said, well, baby, what do you want to do? Now, mind you, I'm on my knees on all 4s. And I said, I just want to get in the bed and go to sleep because whatever this is, it comes and it goes. So it'll pass. And he tries to get me up, but I'm weaker this time. He said, nope. He said, you don't get to die on me today. And I thank God for that pricking because I thank God for him being my life. Do we have the perfect marriage? No, nobody has a perfect marriage. But God is very intentional.
Right.
And had I been where I was before I married my husband, I would be dead. I believe that today. And so he got me dressed. We're still not thinking it's my heart, or we're still not thinking that my clock is about to expire. Tick, tock. We're just thinking it's happening again, whatever this thing is. And so he gets me dressed. We stopped to get gas.
Just chilling on the way.
No, we wasn't. He was flying, but we stopped to get gas because we were on E, and we didn't think to call 911 or any of that. He's driving. I'm like, if I die, it's going to be because you're speeding and you're going to cause me to just have a heart attack because you're scaring the crap out of me. So he's going 100 miles per hour. I arrived to the emergency room and this time was different. This time, my left arm was still numb. My neck was still bothering me. My jaw was still numb. I still was having the hot flashes. I still felt the pressure in my chest. The upper back pain was still there, but I was vomiting this time, this white foam. But they do the EKG on me. They rush me. Matter of fact, I'm walking. I walk to get in the bed. Wow. They do the EKG. Tick, tock, tick, tock. He comes back and he says, you're having a massive heart attack.
Right now.
Right now.
Wow.
And I look at my husband, he looks at me, and I can tell he ain't no help in this moment because he's in a state of shock.
He's thinking, oh, snap.
So I'm like, call my mom. We become these big babies, right? I was like, call my mom.
Yeah, let's stop right there and we're going to come right back. We are talking to Terry Robinson. This is Live with Michelle Vann, and we will be right back. FaithWorks is a connecting for a healthy community.
We believe that engaging with the community in all phases of life is essential, whether it's health fairs, community forums, or attending and helping out with gospel concerts. We want to support one another in building a healthy and vibrant community. Health information and technology are important factors in health behavior and health outcomes. We hope that by our engagement and collaboration, we can foster rich conversations and also action to meet the needs of the community. In doing so, we have created some community forums. These webinars, series, and community forums are called Faith in Action. This month, our presenter will be Dr. Michelle Vann, and she will be talking about empowering women to achieve better physical and emotional health. Join us Tuesday, March 28th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Registration is free, but we would like for you to register. Please register at faithworkskc.org. That is faithworkskc.org. Please register for this webinar series. We know that you will be blessed, empowering women to achieve better physical and emotional health. Join us at FaithWorks, where faith works.
All right, this is Live with Michelle Vann. We are talking to Tara Robinson today, and we were talking about just this massive heart attack.
Yeah, this massive heart attack. And, God always gives us a little peep into the future if we pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so they cold blew me. So as far as I know, watching TV, cold blue means I'm out of there. I'm gone. I'm dead. And so they cold blew me. And I'm like, what's going on? All these doctors, all these nurses come out and everybody's working. And I said, I'm not dead. I can see y'all, and I'm cracking jokes. I'm very lighthearted. And I think that was even intentional with God.
Mm-hmm.
And so they say, no, that's what we do when it's an emergency. And so my mom arrives and she said, I'm going to just step out and I'm going to call your grandmother so she can get everybody praying. I come from a praying family of
right.
We're prayer warriors. And so I said, okay, because I'm kind of calm at this point. My husband's still freaked out. I don't even know if he's talking. And so before my mom could come back into the emergency room, the cardiologist comes in. Now, mind you, all these people are strangers. So if you think death is going to happen the way you plan it, it's not. And so he comes out, he said, we have no time to wait on family or friends. We have to go. So I wouldn't, at this moment, if I'm about to lose my life, I haven't said anything to my husband. I haven't left any message for my children. My daughter's in Austin in college. My son's at school. I wouldn't have had a chance to say, I love you and I want you to be okay without me. And when you think of those moments, it should make you want to get your life in order. So I'm going down this corridor and it's all white and don't know what's about to happen. I'm surrounded by all these people I don't know. And I'm saying to myself, yea, though I walk through the valleys and the shadows.
Come on now.
I will fear no evil. And then I started Amazing Grace, things that my grandmother planted in me has started to come up like a wellspring, and it kept me.
Yeah.
It kept me calm. And so it kept me at peace. Let me say that. Yes. And so I'm going back there. I'm sorry, I get all emotional as
that's
okay. Yesterday. So I'm back there and a nurse, Black woman from New Orleans. So the accent is thick. And I'm cracking jokes now at this point. I said, girl, you remember when your grandmother said you should be prepared for all moments? And she's laughing at me. She said, don't worry, sis, I got you. And if I could do it in her accent, I can't even give it justice because, they're like, she's like, baby, don't worry, I got you. It's going to be okay. Yeah. And I said, okay. And she said, you're up the entire procedure. You can see your heart on the screen. That thing we don't get to see, I got to see it. And so she says, we get to a point in the surgery and she said, he's going to go through your groin. He's about to tamper with your heart. You're going to feel a little discomfort. Ooh, that could preach right there, but you won't.
That part.
But you won't feel any pain. And in that moment, I died.
Oh, wow.
but I thought I was dreaming. And so I knew where I was. I knew I was in heaven. I could feel the peace. My mind wasn't worried about my children, my husband, my nothing on this side. I knew where I was and I was excited to be there. I knew I was in heaven. It was I can't describe that to you. I have to describe that another time.
Wow.
But when I came back on this side, God literally breathed into me the breath of life. His breath was
that
on me.
pneuma.
Yeah, it was, and my body shifted on the table. Like it was literally that moment, a shifting. Oh, I never said that. Oh, thank Lord, don't let me get excited because this is I with Michelle. That shifting, I never recognized until just now.
Yeah.
The shifting and the breath was at simultaneously. And the nurse said, baby, you went to sleep on us for a minute. And I said, I did. And that was weird. That's exactly what I said to her. So they roll me into ICU and the cardiologist comes out. I don't even know this man's name. And he says, Tara, God has you in the palm of his hands. He said, because when you died on that operating table, it was nothing I learned in school. It's not because I'm a doctor that saved your life. I got on my knees and I prayed for you.
Woo! Come on. Come on. Amazing that God will put the right people at the right place when he's trying to do something in our life to shift us.
Yes. And that's all I can say.
I don't know any of them, but right people at the right place to do the right thing to help us shift.
Yes. And that's what he did for me. And when he said, you died, I screamed, I went to heaven. Nobody's going to believe me. And he said, I believe you, because when I said amen, you came back to us.
Whew. Jesus.
He was a doctor. He's a doctor from India.
Wow.
Dr. Munlaroo. And I'm grateful because the doctors at the other times wouldn't have been able to save me. I had been 3 times, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost.
We are talking to Tara Robinson. We are here live with Michelle Vann, where we talk about health, wealth, and spirituality, and we will be right back.
If you're ready to manifest your vision for every area of your life, I invite you to join me inside the Live Well community. For 1 entire year, you will receive the structure, support, and accountability you need to pursue the life of your dreams. It's time to stop letting fear hold you back and start acting as if everything is possible. Because it is. The truth is, you are powerful beyond measure. And it's time you allow yourself to begin to walk in that power. Within this community, you will get powerful tools to help you organize and structure your life. Monthly, you will get goal-setting workshops, you will get workbooks and other tools so that you can begin to create the life that you want. Isn't clarity something worth striving for? As you get into this community, you will level up your self-image and increase your confidence. What are you waiting on? Sign up right now. Are you a woman in leadership ready for your next level in 2023? Lead Up Women in Leadership and Business Virtual Training is a 2-day event designed to empower every woman to take her dreams and business up in 2023. So join us on March 29th through the 30th for this incredible experiencing by registering at www.moniqueflemings.net/events/leadup. This event is for you. Don't miss it. Make sure that you register at www.moniqueflemings.net/events/leadup. Every speaker will be bringing the fire, so come ready. Invite a sister or a friend as well to get into this amazing space. This is the time for you to level up, lead up, and make sure that you are in the room for your blessing. Don't miss it.
All right, here we go. We are back. We are still talking to Tara Robinson. Woo! I don't know about you, but if you at this point don't know Jesus, you might want to get to know him in a very real way.
Yeah.
Because this could happen to you. I think all of us have had experiences in our life, not to this extreme, but we have all had those times when we know that our body is not right. We know some stuff is not going right in our bodies, and we ignore it and we push it off, and we give all kinds of other definitions and ways in which we believe we can, push it off, and we don't take care of it.
We don't take care of it. We don't take care of it. And I thank God that he placed people around me to force me to keep going to the hospital because I was over it. And, but from my ICU bed, I called American Heart and I said, hey, I need to learn everything I can about heart disease, heart attacks, strokes, anything you can teach me, I'm willing to learn. And they said, well, as soon as you get on your feet, come and volunteer for us. And so I went to the local chapter here. I volunteered stuffing bags for their Go Ready event. That was my first event. Went in that room and I didn't see anybody that looked like me. Nope. But I was determined to learn, keep going. I wasn't going to let that deter me. And so they eventually asked me, why are you here? What, you're volunteering. And I said, I had 3 heart attacks, and that got somebody to talk to somebody, and they put me in a room. They were having $1 million fundraiser. I didn't know how much money they were trying to raise. I didn't care. I just wanted to share my story in hopes of saving lives and learn. Right. And so they put me in a room where nobody else was in there, but my little family only looked like me. Yeah. And told my story. And I said, if I can't talk about God, I will not share. That part. I said, there is no, compromise for me. And so they said, share your story. And I did that. And I remember a gentleman being there, and silver hair, older guy. And he said, that peace you speak of is what I experienced in a car accident at 18. I died in a car accident and came back. And he said, now that I'm on the end of this, he was 80 years old. You have confirmed that peace will meet me on the other side. And I'm ready now. And that confirmed that I was on the track God wanted me to be on. And so I stayed. I became a national spokesperson for them. That's the highest you can go as a volunteer. I've worked on their research team on how they can dumb down language where we plain, simple people can understand it, and not in, these medical terms y'all use and nobody understands what the heck y'all talking about. And so, but as I continued to go, and I love American Heart and what they do, all the research that they do, but what I realized, there was a gap. Yes. And so a disconnect between us and them, to put it nicely. Absolutely. And that's okay. I'm not here to reform their system. I'm here to create a new system that is for people of color. And so I said, there's a disconnect. Let me do it. Because I kept feeling this pull for more. When God has his hand on you, you'll feel that pull for more towards your purpose. And so he called me to the ministry in 2014, but I knew it wasn't for the pulpit. I didn't quite understand it, but I said, whatever it was, I wasn't doing it. Know that. And so I had my heart attacks after that. And so that's like, okay, yes, Lord, whatever you say. Yeah, whatever you say. What you say? What you say? Yeah. I get it now. And so I was in a state of surrendering. I had experienced my death experience, and a lot of us have to experience this death experience to get to God. And so I started speaking to Black churches about heart disease, and I still felt like that wasn't enough. Then I started having these little events around heart disease, still felt like that wasn't enough. And so I started pulling up. So by this time, COVID kind of rolls around, because I started my nonprofit in 2016 under a total different name, Rock Your Heart Society. COVID starts to creep in. We have no dollars to do what God has placed on my heart to do. So we start pulling up at protests, doing blood pressure screening. Yeah. Started pulling up at Black-owned businesses that were struggling and hoping to share their information on social media. doing blood pressure screenings, little things that we could do to make a very small impact.
Right.
So I knew what I needed to do was to get a mobile unit, because my husband said, baby, pulling up and pulling this stuff out the trunk of your car is the ghetto. And I was like, that's okay.
It's like, it's the ultimate of selling DVDs out the back of the car.
Yes, I was slinging health out the back of my trunk the best I could. And so God is, if I could really get into it, you want to understand God's alignment is serious. I hadn't seen this guy for over 20 years from high school, but now he's the VP in this pharmaceutical company. He does a book sign.
He will align this in the way he needs to.
Yes, he did a book sign. I said, I'm going to go see him and go get the book. And so Marion Brooks, Emotional Intelligence, 4 things they're not telling you in your career you need to know. So I get there and talk with him, get his book, he signs it. I call him because he's a business coach. I said, hey, I'm about to, all I know, he's a business coach. I don't know where he's working at. I said, hey, I need to get you to sign my book and this, that, and the other. And I call him later and I say, hey, I need you, to help me speak about heart disease all over the world.
Right.
And I said, I'm starting this organization because I just lost my brother-in-law, Stephen, at the age of 38. He dropped dead in front of my niece and nephew.
Wow.
At the age of 38 from a hypertensive heart attack. And that's how we changed the name to Black Heart Association.
Keep going.
And so he said, tell me more about this Black Heart Association. I'm going to have you come speak on our campus about what you're doing and how your heart story and all of this. Now, mind you, he don't know if I can speak. He doesn't know how I'm going to show up. But he trusted me and he gave me an olive branch. And because of God's grace and mercy, I killed that speaking engagement and built partnerships with others in his organization, wrote a grant, didn't even know how to write a grant, just did my own little research and was able to secure $25,000 to get our mobile unit.
This is Live with Michelle Vann. We are talking to Tara Robinson and we will be right back.
Faith Works is a connecting for a healthy community. We believe that engaging with the community in all phases of life is essential, whether it's health fairs, community forums, or attending and helping out with gospel concerts. We want to support one another in building a healthy and vibrant community. Health information and technology are important factors in health behavior and health outcomes. We hope that by our engagement and collaboration, we can foster rich conversations and also action to meet the needs of the community. In doing so, we have created some community forums. These webinars, series, and community forums are called Faith in Action. This month, our presenter will be Dr. Michelle Vann, and she will be talking about empowering women to achieve better physical and emotional health. Join us Tuesday, March 28th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Registration is free, but we would like for you to register. Please register at faithworkskc.org. That is faithworkskc.org. Please register for this webinar series. We know that you will be blessed. Empowering women to achieve better physical and emotional health. Join us at Faith Works, where faith works.
All right, here we go. Hello, we are back. This is Live with Michelle Vann. We are talking to Tara Robinson. We're kind of talking about how she got Black Heart Association running. So let's keep going. How did you get, you talk to the guy, you go and rock this conversation, then what happens?
So, y'all, they say do a grant. I said, I don't know anything about grant writing. And so I began to freak out. And my husband says, don't freak out. Go back to who you know is the source. And so fell on my knees, prayed, wrote that grant, and they granted it. Granted, can I say that? They granted the grant. And so that was $25,000. So as soon as I got that grant, I put some things in place. I got an accountant.
Mm-hmm.
I got a grant writer. Mm-hmm. And then I found a bus. I'd already had the bus. I put my own money into my dream, the dream that God had gave me. Got the bus, and then I took the rest of that money and got the bus made into a mobile clinic.
Okay.
Now, I didn't know what all I needed, y'all. I didn't have no business plan, but all I had was Holy Spirit leading me. And I mean that wholeheartedly. And it's not a cliche when I say it is what it is.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the best business plan anyway.
Yeah. We can
create a whole lot of things. But when we are led by the Spirit, we will be in the right place at the right time to receive the right things that we need.
We reach for a lot. We always feel like when it's going hard that we need to start reaching and doing other things. I had my blinders on as if I was in a horse race and I wasn't looking left or to the right. I was looking straight ahead so I could stay focused on the things that he had for me. And it was a very difficult season in my marriage. It was just a lot going on, but I needed to be alone or feel alone at that moment so that I could focus on what he had to birth through me, because it was a big thing that was coming forth. And so did that, got the unit, y'all, found a doctor that would cover us, found phlebotomists that would work on our unit. I didn't know nothing about how they did labs. I just knew what I needed to get done. And and I wanted to alert our community on where they stood as it related to heart disease. I was determined not to allow this thing to catch anyone else off guard.
Right.
Because God tells us to guard our heart. So I'm giving you something to help you guard that. So that you can stay here with your family.
Yeah.
Stephen's death gave me a front row seat to my own funeral.
Wow.
And that was the nail in the coffin for me. I was like, this is it. I don't want any more Black people to die because of heart disease. To see my niece and nephew my nephew was a freshman in high school.
Wow.
My niece was a senior in high school. He had another daughter graduating from TSU. All these moments, that one moment changed their life forever.
Yeah.
And it was
those are not moments that now Daddy can be a part of.
He's missing everything. Our new campaign going into 2023 is be here, never miss a moment. Because
I love that.
We focus on everything but the right things. And it's time to shift our focus toward what really matters. And we cannot walk in our purpose if we're not well.
That part.
Period.
That part.
And so we're wherever our people are. The bus has really changed my life. I can't even begin to tell y'all how much this bus is just the beginning.
And how do people get the bus? How do they find the bus? How do they find out about it?
If you're ready to manifest your vision for every area of your life, I invite you to join me inside the Live Well community. For one entire year, you will receive the structure, support, and accountability you need to pursue the life of your dreams. It's time to stop letting fear hold you back and start acting as if everything is possible. Because it is. The truth is, you are powerful beyond measure. And it's time you allow yourself to begin to walk in that power. Within this community, you will get powerful tools to help you organize and structure your life. Monthly, you will get goal-setting workshops. You will get workbooks and other tools so that you can begin to create the life that you want. Isn't clarity something worth striving for? As you get into this community, you will level up your self-image and increase your confidence. What are you waiting on? Sign up right now. Are you a woman in leadership ready for your next level in 2023? Lead Up Women in Leadership and Business Virtual Training is a 2-day event designed to empower every woman to take her dreams and business up in 2023. So join us on March 29th through the 30th for this incredible experiencing by registering at www.moniqueflemings.net/events/leadup. This event is for you. Don't miss it. Make sure that you register at www.moniqueflemings.net/events/lead up. Every speaker will be bringing the fire, so come ready. Invite a sister or a friend as well to get into this amazing space. This is the time for you to level up, lead up, and make sure that you are in the room for your blessing. Don't miss it.
How do they
So
find
the
out about Black Heart Association?
So let me tell y'all, the bus, you can go to www.blackheartassociation.org to find out all the things that we do at Black Heart Association. You can book the bus at that website. You just go to mobile health unit and you book it. If you need us to come out of town, you need to reach out to us personally via email, so that, because that's some other involved things than just booking the bus locally. If you're going to do that, my email is Tara@Black Heart Association. If you want to, for speaking and funding and donation, that's me. If you want to book the bus or for us to come long distance, you reach out to my husband, Frederick, at blackheartassociation.org, and he'll set us all up and get us on the road to get to you. Our hopes and dreams is to take this thing nationally, to have buses across the United States, and it will happen because
Yes.
I know who I serve. So it's just, those steps, and we pray for each step as we continue to go forward and serve from the heart.
Absolutely. Tara, I am so happy that you were able to share your story with us. I am so glad that you are still here.
Yes.
I'm so glad that you are still here. And when purpose and passion collide, it makes an absolute fabulous thing for God to work in. And so, I appreciate you sharing your story. I appreciate you being obedient, because sometimes people go through these life-changing, shifting sorts of things, and then they walk out and they go, okay, well, I'm good, so I'm going to do what I was going to do anyway. And I appreciate you being obedient and hearing Holy Spirit and then walking in that. And so
hope that you enjoyed our production today. Take the time to like us on Facebook at Live with Michelle Vann. Also, find us on YouTube, Live with Michelle Vann. And we have just begun our podcast. So find us on any of your